Hey everyone, welcome to week 29, day 4 video. We are going to talk about not just how to find mean, median, mode, and range today, or IQR and how to find it. We're not talking about just finding it. Today we're talking about what they mean. So hopefully by the end of this that you fully understand why we do mean and median and how you use those to compare different data sets. Same thing for range and IQR. So we're going to try to hit that home today. But before we get there, we have a throwback here for our starter. It says, what ordered pair describes the unit rate? So when we talk about, you got two kind of vocabulary words in there. You got ordered pair and you've got unit rate. Well, ordered pair is a specific spot on a coordinate grid. So for example, if I were to grab my highlighter and highlight this one, that one would be written, let's see, pencil. That one would be written parenthesis 4, because you put your x coordinate first, 4 comma 80. Now that does not represent the unit rate. The unit rate can always be found, and think about it. Isn't unit rate miles per hour or miles per gallon or feet per second? So you're looking for 1 on the bottom. So the way you do that, you look for 1 on the x-axis. So I'm going to grab my highlighter again real quick. Let's see. I'm going to go up from 1, hit the line, and then come over to 20. So my coordinate pair here is, remember, we put our x first, and our x is in the bottom here. So we need to put x first. Let me grab my mouse. We've got 1, parenthesis, 1, comma, 20. Now, what does that really mean is, well, you look at the axis labels. It says the 20 represents dollars earned babysitting, and the bottom means weeks. So if we're talking about unit rate, we have $20 per 1 week of babysitting. That is a unit rate, and that's why that works. All right, same kind of style of question over here. What does 336 mean? So I'm going to grab my highlighter again. I'm going to go up from 3 because 3 is the x, and you start on the bottom here. 336. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, 3 means dozen and 36 means cookies. That means that there are 36 cookies in 3 dozen. And we knew that because we know there's 12 cookies in a dozen. But that's what this graph means. It says, what ordered pair describes the unit rate? Well, again, let's think back of what we did in number 1. To find a unit rate, you always go up from 1. That's the secret until you hit the line. So I'm going to go up from 1 here, and then I'm going to go over to 12. So in this case, I've got 12 cookies per 1 dozen. And the way you'd write that in coordinate pair or ordered pair form would be 1 comma, because you do your x first, 1 comma, 12, close parenthesis, and you should be good. All right. That's a throwback. We haven't seen some of this stuff in a while. Both of these are proportional graphs because they're straightened through the origin. Maybe next time we'll get a chance to write an equation that represents those lines. Let's take a look at slide 20. We're going to go straight into the homework. I got asked several times Monday 3, but the most common question was this one. So we are looking at the Jim pays $75 per month question. So if you want to look at that one with us, that's what we're going to do. All right, so for Jim pays $75 per month for a cell phone plan plus 30 cents per minute beyond the first 1,000. So he gets 1,000 for free with the $75 payment. So his bill is 105. So he obviously spent more money than or spent more money than just the 75. So his total was 105.60. And to figure out how many minutes extra he used, we need to subtract his plan off of that bill. So we need to do minus 75. Now, when we subtract 75, that represents 1,000 minutes that he could have used. So let me grab my calculator. I've got 105.60 minus $75. I get 30.6. But we're talking about money here. So 30.60. And then that's how much extra he paid on his bill. So we're talking about extra minutes. Now, if every extra minute was 30 cents, how do we know how many extra minutes he used? Well, don't I need to know how many times 30 cents goes into that? So we're going to divide by 0.30. and we get a total of 30, 60, 30, 60, oops, 60 divided by 30 cents. I'm going to put a zero up front too. I get 102. So the $30.60 he spent, that's 102 minutes. Now, that is not the correct answer. He definitely talked more than that. Because don't forget, he had 1,000 minutes up here that he could have used. Sorry, it's hard to write. So 1,000 up here and 102 down here. We put those together. We have 11:02 minutes. That was a pretty tough one. Another couple people had problems with this one. You'll put this in a proportion as one way you could solve it. There's other ways as well. This one, make sure you write the equation, and then you just plug in 9 for x on this for Monday 8. We've done Monday 1 and Tuesday 1 in the video, or Tuesday 2 in the video so far. This one's just like it. Set it up the same way. Otherwise, if you have any questions, make sure you're reaching out to your math teacher and asking for help. I know I do 1, 2, or 3 questions a day on this. So we want to see you become more and more independent. But if you have any questions, still reach out. All right. Let's take a look at the next slide. We've got comparing data sets round 2. The first thing we need to do is find the correct order of these. And I prefer least to greatest, although greatest to least would be okay. But most people do prefer least to greatest. So 0, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Now to know for sure if I did it right, I'm going to count how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll need that anyways. So I've got 9 terms here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so I've gotten that one right. I'm going to go ahead and do the mean, median, IQR, and range here. So the mean, I would add those up. Let me grab my calculator. I'm going to use my handheld on this one because I don't want to flip between them. I've got 0 plus 2 plus 4 plus, 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus 14 plus 16. Now I didn't add the 0 because it doesn't change anything. I get 71 for my sum. So I need to do 71 divided by however many terms. And we said there were 9 when we counted to make sure. So when I see that, I want to round to the nearest tenth. So 7 point, and then the 8 in the hundredths place, round to the tenth to a 9. So let's go back to our classic. Let's try 7.9. Okay, not bad. Now for median, I'm telling you, paper and pencil. If you've been watching these videos, you already know that's what I was going to say. So 0, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I need to find the median here. So I'm going to mark 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 8. I get 8 for my median. You don't always get 2 numbers in between. Sometimes you get 1, which is nice. All right, then IQR, I need to find Q3 minus Q1. This is the one that most people are having trouble with. So I need to find Q3. So I'm going to look at the top half. Now, 8's in the middle. It's not on either side. So I'm going to mark 10 out, mark 16 out, and I'm going to look between 12 and 14. Now, if you can't come up with a number between 12 and 14, you can just add them and divide by 2. So if I do 12 plus 14, let's clear here. 12 plus 14, and that's 26. 26 divided by 2 is, oops, I did not do 26. Let's try that again. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Now, when I say a number in between, I mean the exact in between. It has to be very particular. But in this case, it's going to be 13 minus, and then I have to do 0 minus 5, or take off 0, take off 5. That leaves me at 2 and 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 divided by 2 would be 3. So there's that. So I've got 13 and 3. So I'm going to do 13. So I do my Q3 minus my Q1. 13 minus 3 is 10. All right, last but not least, we've got our range. 16 minus 0 is 16. All right, let's do this next one real fast. I would recommend pausing. Go ahead and trying to do it on your own. And then turn me back on when we go over it. I'll try to go quickly. All right, hopefully you got a chance to knock this one out on your own. I am going to quickly go through this just to double check because you probably have all your screen already. So in order, it should be 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. Okay, that lit up green. And then the mean here, I just need to add them up. Again, I'm going to use my handheld so I don't have to flip between tabs. I've got 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. I got 46, and I'm going to divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do 46 divided by 8, and I get 5.75, but it says round to the nearest tenth, so that 5 would round to 5.8. All right, let's go to median. Again, you know what I'm going to say. Paper and pencil all day long. All right, so 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I get 2 in between here, so 5 and 6 added together would be 11, and then 11 divided by 2. Let's try that. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. Okay, and that would give me my median. Let's see if that works. 5.5 for median, and we're good. Now that we've got that split in half, all we need to do is find the median at the top and subtract the median at the bottom. So mark off 6. See, 6 is part of the top. 8. Then it's going to be between 6 and 7. So my quartile 3 is 6 plus 7 divided by 2. Let me grab my calculator. 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. And if you just look at it, 6 and 7 are right beside each other. So you know directly in between them will be a decimal or a half. All right, same thing on the bottom. Mark off 4, mark off 5. We have 5 and 5. I don't know if you've done this one before, but if you have if 2 of the same number, it's going to be that number. So that would be Q1. So I need to subtract these. 6.5 minus 5. Let's see, 6.5 minus 5. Get 1.5 for my IQR. Let's see, 1.5. Done. And then last but not least, my range. My biggest was 8. My smallest was 4. My range was 4. Now, without looking at any of the stuff that we just found and not looking at the questions below, just looking at the reorders, which one looks more spread out? Like, to me, I see for sure third period is more spread out. Sixth looks more crunched together, like you have a lot more people around the same set of numbers. But this one goes from 0 to 16. This one goes from 4 to 8. I mean, that's a lot tighter number set. So let's talk about this. So when you look at the means between these two, this one has a higher mean. Now, if you look at the median, it also has a higher median. So if we're comparing these, you're looking at both. You look and you see, what does that mean that these have bigger? Well, that just simply, you got to go back to the title, number of video games per student. If they have higher mean and medians, that generally means that they have more video games. That's how you compare. You can use either median, so mean or median on that one. And then when you look at these two, we were just talking about which one's more spread out. But when you look at IQR and range, we said third was more spread out. Also look at the IQR. The IQR and range are both bigger than these. IQR and range measure how spread out something is. So the bigger the number, the more spread out. So all of these numbers have their usefulness. It's just a matter of understanding how to use them. So this is where we're going. Which classes students generally have more video games? Well, when we look at the mean and median, it says third hour does. See, if you go back up, third period. So third 3RD period generally has more video games. I know this because, and you have a couple options here because there are 2 measures of center that we found. We have mean, and we know they had more video games because the mean was larger. Now let's say I chose median. Median is larger. That's one way to do it. All right, number 2, which classes students' data is more spread out? We kind of talked about that. If we look at this one, we know third periods is more spread out, but we know it because IQR and range as well. That is a measure of how spread out the data set is. So I would say third again. Third is more spread out. And that's because their range or IQR, I'm going to go with IQR. Let's see if it's programmed that way. Their IQR is larger, which means it's more spread out. Number 3, it says which classes students' data is more consistent. Well, more consistent means less spread out. So looking at the IQR, which one is less spread out? That would be sixth period. So we're going to say sixth period. Sixth period's data is more consistent because let's go with range this time. Their range is smaller, or yeah, smaller is what they want. Smaller, and that's it. So when you're looking at mean and median, you can kind of have a generalization of which one's data set trends more than the other. When you're looking at IQR and range, you're looking at which one's more spread out than the other, and that's huge moving out of this unit. That's huge. That you understand why those numbers are the way they are. All right, let's take a look at slide 22. So this is comparing just mean and median specifically. Sometimes you'll get a question, which measure of center is better, mean or median? And then they'll give you a number set. Well, that's what we're going to talk about on this slide. So mean is generally best, but mean's not good with outliers. So you do not want outliers for mean because that will skew your data. Median, however, is great for when there are outliers present. So you might be asking yourself, what's an outlier? So if we look down below, it says outliers are numbers that are very big or very small compared to the number set. So let's look at these two sets here. Look at number set 1. Do you see any numbers that are like extremely big or extremely small compared to the other numbers in the set? Yeah, I don't either. They're all kind of the same. But when you look at number set 2, do you see any numbers that are out of the ordinary? I do. For me, both 63 and 82 are both a little, okay, maybe. So 63 is about 2.5 times bigger than 24. I mean, that's a lot bigger. 82 is more than 3 times bigger. So both of these would probably stand out as being outliers. So when we look at this, let's go ahead and solve this. And this will kind of prove my point that if there's outliers involved, you'll want to use median, not mean. So I'm going to add up these, and to avoid, actually, I think I might be able to just slide it over here. Let's see if it'll let me. There we go. Let's clear this out. I'm going to do 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus, 41 plus 11 plus 12 plus 14. So when I add all those up, I get 78, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 78 divided by 9, unless I counted wrong or added wrong. I get 8.6 repeating, so I'm going to go ahead and put 8.7 because this 6 would round this 6 up to 7. All right, we've got median now. So for median, you know what I'm going to say, paper and pencil all day long. All right, so I'm going to shrink this calculator for a second. Let's see, median. We need to put these in order. They're already there, so that's good. 4, 5, 6, 8, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 14. All right, all I need you to do is find that middle number, and if there's 2, you add and divide by 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 8. Let's see, 8. All right, looking at number set 2, I've got mean and median here as well, so I need to go ahead and find the median. Let's pop that calculator up if it'll let me. All right, 14, so let's clear. I've got 14 plus 15 plus 17 plus 18 plus 22 plus 22 plus 24 plus 63 plus 82. 277 divided by, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Divided by 9. 277 divided by 9. I get 30.8 because the 7 rounds up. 30.8. Let's see. Okay, that worked. And then median, we would just need to write them down again. So I know that gets old, but I'm telling you, every time someone does it on paper and pencil, they have a higher percentage chance of getting it correct because it's a little easier to see what the center is. 63 and 82. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down just a tad bit. All right, and then I'm going to find the middle number. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 22. Let's see if that works. All right, so I know these numbers are different, so it's a little hard to compare them. Now, they're not even, it doesn't even say anything about video games or fish caught or anything like that that we've seen in the past couple of days. So we're not really comparing them, but I do want you to recognize this. If there's no outliers, the mean and median are very close together and they both kind of fit towards the center of the data, right? So yeah, 8.7 would fall right here, right in the middle, which is great. And 8 would also be right in the middle. Now, the difference here is when you have outliers, the mean is way leaning right. It's way over here by the outliers, where median is more towards the middle, which is why when we say if there's outliers present, median might be the better measure of center. So because it's so much more affected towards the mean. So these outliers affect the mean so much more than it does the median. All right, let's take a look at these. First off, are there any outliers in number set 1? We said no. They're all pretty close together. Which measure of center would be best? When there's no outliers, mean is best. Are there any outliers in number set 2? There are, so yes. And then which measure of center would be best? Well, we said if there's outliers involved, you should stick with median because it doesn't fluctuate due to a few outliers on it. All right, everybody good there? Let's jump on to slide 23, and I'm going to leave you on slide 23 here in just a second. I'm not going to rock through all of these, but I do want to point out that this set is the same set as this, except they've added 31, which is a number that's pretty significantly bigger than the biggest number, other biggest number. So I would consider that to be maybe an outlier. So it says what measure of center is most affected? Well, if we thought back to that, what does outliers mess up? Think about that. And then as you come down through here, you have means and medians, and it says, which one would you rather work for? That's not graded, but there is a right answer there. So give it your best shot. Make sure you put Y. Jump over here. As you go through, you're going to just practice finding mean and median. I had a couple people goof up on this one because they're trying to do 18 plus 19 plus 20 plus 21. Well, that's not how you find median. That's not how you add up on a dot plot. You've got to add up the dots. Those are the numbers that you've got in your data set. So you would do 22 plus 23 plus 25 plus 25. And then you add them all up. You get 303 divided by 11. You just type that in a calculator. Now, when you do Camp 2, you got to add those dots up. 18 plus 21 plus 22 plus 22. You got to go all the way up to 30. And then you divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which just already shows divide by 11. You just type that in. The mean values tell you that the participants in camp blank jump higher. So whoever has the higher mean is what you're going to write. This one I'm going to let you kind of try to read through on your own. If you have questions about it, make sure you reach out to your teacher. Thank you all for tuning in today. Hopefully you're learning the difference between means and medians and modes and range. You'll notice that we didn't talk a whole lot about mode, and that's because for us to really use mode and it be a number that we can compare, your data set has to be humongous. So like if we are looking for the average number of pets for the state of Kentucky, and a mode would probably fall somewhere near the center of the data. But for something so small, only like 10 or 11 terms, mode's not going to be very handy. But hopefully you're able to start understanding why we do this. When comparing stuff, you got to pick the right measures to compare. But if you have any other questions with it, please reach out to your teacher. Make sure you're knocking out your homework before Friday. Otherwise, I'll see each of you at your next scheduled class.